Yes!
Hi, so I just got back a few days ago from my third Stomp It camp, and before I show what I learned at that camp, I thought I should go back and explain where I started with Stomp It camps and what they are. So I did my first Stomp It camp about a year ago, and a few months before that I had just been watching YouTube videos and came across Stomp It tutorials, which seemed to be a channel that did tons of tutorials about skiing, any kind of skiing, from really basic stuff to more advanced stuff. They had tutorials for it, and in watching their tutorials I found out about their camps. So I went over to the website, and it turned out that they did technique camps, freestyle camps, and freeride camps for adults in Lax, Switzerland, which isn't too far away from Berlin. And I thought, this is amazing. It's exactly what I'd been hoping existed. I tried researching lessons or camps for freestyle and park skiing for adults in the past couple of years, and I could just never find anything that was specifically for adults, and I didn't really want to take part in anything like that with a bunch of kids. So I was really happy to find this, and it fit perfectly in my life at the time. I was between jobs, so I had the time off, so I thought, this is great, I'm just gonna do it. And yeah, that was my first Stomp It camp. So now I'll show the footage from that, and yeah, enjoy. So one thing we spent a lot of time learning was how to slide on a box, and eventually I was able to slide a 360. Then I would often try other tubes and rails around the parks. These videos are pretty misleading because I would usually fall off towards the back and land on my hip. Luckily those just weren't recorded. Yeah, we learned a lot of jumping and how to pop in particular. That's where you take off, and moved on to learning the first 180s, and I often lost the ski. I was having some issues with my bindings. Eventually I did get it, and then moved on to learning threes, and this was one of my more epic crashes of the camp where I slammed my face onto the ground, and even with a helmet and goggles I still got this nice shiner on my cheek, and I eventually did land threes. Then would try to use that skill in other places like side hits. That was very graceful. Moved on to the bigger jumps in the medium park, and I did a daffy off of one of those. And then we had a session on this blue tube. I felt like that a lot. I probably fell off this tube 15 times before I got it. It was really frustrating, but I was quite happy when I did eventually get it. Ended up with this huge bruise on my left hip from all the falls on the boxes and the rails. So the sun has luckily come out a little. Today we're in the medium park, and I just did my first jump over one of these big jumps on the left. There's some little, like, these volcano thingies, and then the rails in there, which I'm avoiding today because of my hip. That's the hip, that kind of square looking one. That's really fun. Yeah, I'm gonna try one of these big jumps again. I landed it back seated, like on the back of my skis, because I think I didn't commit quite enough to the pop coming off the jump. So now that I've got one in my system, oh, there's Julian just hit the second one. Yeah, now that I have one in my system, I'm gonna commit more to the pop, but it's so much more airtime than the others. It's really cool. Those are the smaller ones that we've been doing. Did a few of those earlier. Yeah, but these ones are pretty fun, and I hope that I can get comfortable enough on them to try some grabs. So that was the roundup from my first Stomp It camp, and after camp I was just so high. I was so excited about everything that I'd learned. I couldn't believe some of the things I learned. Like, I never thought I would leave that camp being able to do a 360. It was an incredible experience. The coaching was excellent. Like, they're so good. They explain every little thing to you, and they push you at your own pace. Like, even though I think we were 12 or 13 campers, maybe even 15, still it was like having individual coaching. It was just a great environment. Everybody was supportive of each other. Everybody was helping motivate each other, cheering for each other. It was such a nice group of people that I met. I was the only woman at the camp, but that was actually fine. Like, I don't really mind being the only woman among guys, and the guys were all really, really nice. I was a little worried that they would be kind of like a bro-y atmosphere because I know like freestyle skiing and snowboarding can kind of have that. And I wasn't really interested in that, but it wasn't like that at all. Everybody was super down to earth. We were all beginners at this and quite humble about it. And yeah, it was just an incredible experience. I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't think that I would ever do another one. As I said, it just fit really well in my life at that time. And I had the money from having not traveled for a while due to Corona. And I thought, yes, that was so great, but it was kind of a one-time thing. I wasn't disappointed at that idea. It was just like, I don't know, I hadn't even opened my mind to the idea that I could go back and do more of them. So I was just so happy to have had, people are screaming in the park. I was just so happy to have had the experience, and it really opened up my skiing in general. Like, I love skiing, but in the past years it's become a little, not boring, but just like repetitive, just the same thing over and over again, just going down the piste. And the camp really taught me how to be more playful and try out different things even when you're not necessarily in a park, like going off side hits and doing slope spins and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it really gave me so much in my skiing and in my confidence. And as I said, I didn't think I would ever do another one, but somewhere along the line that changed, and I'll talk about that in my next video. Hope you enjoyed my first Stomp It Camp roundup, and be sure to check out the next one about my second Stomp It Camp. Bye!